Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another video for Fear the Walking Dead, leading up to the start for Season 4. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not we think this huge time skip is going to hurt the series. And spoiler warning for those of you who are not caught up for The Walking Dead, and also kind of Fear the Walking Dead as well too, because I might give away some things that happen in Fear. I'll try to keep it mainly spoiler free because I know not everyone has seen Fear the Walking Dead, but before The Walking Dead second half of Season 8 returns, I would suggest if you have some time and you're looking for something to watch and you're not caught up for Fear, give it a chance, especially Season 3. Season 3 of Fear, I think just about anybody who likes Walking Dead, will like Season 3 of Fear. It's quite different, and it's super interesting. A lot of villains, a lot of things happening, crazy pacing all throughout Season 3. It's really an amazing season of a show. So check it out if you guys haven't, if you haven't seen it up to current date. But that said, I mean, the show is going to change drastically. Aside from having the same group of survivors in Fear in Season 4, everything else looks like it's going to change. The location looks like it's going to change. The villain may be the same, but I'm just not sure. And how this kind of works with Season 4 versus Season 3 with Proctor John, who was kind of the last villain to sort of end off that season. Will he be returning? What will happen with that? Will he have gone to somehow capture them, gone to Texas or something? Like, how is this whole thing gonna work, or how did they get there? Because if you guys are not cut up for Fear, basically they're still at the end of Season 3. They're still close to the border there in Mexico, and they've been traveling around a lot in Season 3 from a ranch to Tijuana and different places. You know, the last couple seasons they've been in and around there. The Abigail in the first second season or so headed down into Mexico, and they've been kind of in and around there ever since with the dam and ranch and different locations they've been at. So it's been very interesting. Now, how that group gets to Texas is going to be tricky to see. Whether or not everyone is going to go there together, whether or not we're going to see all the different survivors from Fear are all going to go there together is tricky. Which ones are going to come back, which ones are not, we don't know. Characters like Walker and some of the others, just not sure if they're still going to be in the series because of the major shift and the location change going to Season 4. If you guys don't know, Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 was filming in Texas, and so that's kind of always been the location that's been rumored, and now in the picture we saw the semi have the side of it Texas. So, and some people say, well, Trev, just because the semi says that doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly where they are, but it's filming there. You're right, it could be somewhere else, but it's just like everything has been pointing that way so far, so that's what it sounds like most likely we're going to see. And if you guys haven't seen it, we did a video on first look on Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. We got our first pictures of Morgan, just two, but we're going to discuss them coming up here in the Q&A. So if you guys didn't see that video, first look at Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, you got to check that one out for sure. So the question becomes, with those pictures being shown, we know there's going to be some kind of a time jump here for Fear. Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 and the point where it kind of ended off, I probably will do a timeline video comparing before Season 8, second half of Season 8 of The Walking Dead returns, so that we can look at exactly what time or at least close in terms of the zombie apocalypse, the end of Season 3 of Fear is at in original Walking Dead series time. So we'll be able to compare that, because Fear the Walking Dead did get a huge jump start on The Walking Dead, meaning that its storyline, they went through a lot even quicker than the Walking Dead group went through things. The Walking Dead had the farm, and they had other things. They had the prison. They had all this stuff. Fear the Walking Dead has encountered a lot of trouble. A lot of things have happened with them very, very quickly, and that hasn't really slowed down, even though in terms of Season 3's finale, was very early in the zombie apocalypse. So Season 4, I mean, you're having a huge time jump for them. However, we can say that the Walking Dead comic book series has done, at least, as big of a time jump, I want to say. It had a pretty big, a time skip in the Walking Dead series as well. So the comics and probably the TV series will most likely follow suit with a time jump. So, the jump for Fear is not, drastically crazier than The Walking Dead, some of the time jumps The Walking Dead has had in the comics. and we'll probably have in the TV series. So, but this one's really strange. It's very argued right now in the comments. I'm seeing not really a consensus here. A lot of people from the comments in the pictures video, they're saying that they think that it's after Eastman. So if you guys remember, in season 6, we got a flashback episode with Morgan where he meets Eastman, who's the man that teaches him how to use the bow and teaches him, kind of helps him come back from his clear mode into kind of his peace mode, and not wanting to kill and wanting to do the right thing and wanting to find people and be around people, because not wanting to be alone because it's just like an empty life by yourself. Everything's about people. So, of course, he left Eastman's place, and we didn't see him in The Walking Dead until season 5's end when he finally caught up to the others. But we did get the sense throughout season 5 that he was looking for the group and he was kind of, closing in on them, and he didn't finally run into them again until the finale for season 5. And then season 6 became a regular and kind of was back right in and has been ever since. And it's been killing it in The Walking Dead, killing it, just doing awesome. Love to see Morgan around. Every episode has been great that he's been in, I think. Except for maybe 1 or 2 of the Kingdom episodes but any episode he's starring in, or any episode, like the season 6 stuff when he was back was really cool. Protein bar talk and stuff like that. It's just really fun. So it brings in some good questions. Are they going to do it after when he was looking for Rick and the rest of the group? Because his gear that he has in the first picture of the two really looks like he's got the exact same gear as he had when he was looking for Rick and the others. And we know he was out and about looking, but it seemed to be in quite a different location than Texas, and not really, a place where he would run into the Fear group. So some people are in that camp. They think that it's after he left Eastman, which would have been, it doesn't give that much time in between, because if you look at it, clear at season 3, we see Morgan with Rick and Carl and Michonne, and then we go into season 4, and there's a little bit of a time, like days without an accident, that kind of thing. They build the prison up, so there is some time here, and then Too Far Gone and the governor resurging and all that. So there is some time that passes here, and then we don't see him kind of be close to the group until season 5 when he starts getting close. So it's pretty much all of season 4's content. And from clear to the beginning of season 5 is the time after Eastman must have taken place between that time. There's no other way around it. It had to take place during that time. So it doesn't leave that much time in between those two. You basically have a season of The Walking Dead near the end of season 3, beginning of season 5. The time in there is not that, it doesn't seem to me like there's that much time to tell that much story with Morgan if you're going to transition him into Fear the Walking Dead. So right now, for me, the idea of kind of it having being, and maybe there could be a flashback for him or something like this, I don't know. Maybe that's why in the first picture it looks like he's wearing the gear that he was wearing then, and in the second picture it looks like his staff has been sharpened at the end, which is something that, again, it's argued right now. A lot of people are saying that was something he did, All Out War for that, and recently to sharpen the spear and all that. Again, and it was kind of when he was in peace mode, he didn't have that and that kind of thing. But then other people want to argue that too and say, well, he used, things before when he was crazy. But, it's really hard to say here, is really what I'm saying. It's very difficult to say. But I think based on the look of the pictures, I'd say that I'm leaning right now to it being a straight up sequel, or after the events of The Walking Dead season 8, he runs into Fear, which would make the time jump for Fear huge. It would be a humongous time jump for Fear if they do it that way, which is why I can understand if people are like, nah, even though that sounds right, Trev, and a lot of these things are looking like that, it's got to be Eastman, because it's just that big of a time jump would be crazy to see them go from, Fear season 3 goes from like near the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, or like a little bit in, to, all the way to where they're at right now in the original series. What was the Fear group doing all that time? So to have the timeline sync up between the two. So It's really tricky, man, right now. And again, you guys can continue to leave your comments below. Plead your case. Which one do you think it is? Do you think it's the Eastman timeline? Do you think it's the, which wouldn't give us that much time to, do things with Morgan in between? Or do you think it's just simply he's left this show, he's going to Fear, and his story will be in Fear? They're going to have a huge time jump and catch up. Right now, most things are looking like that. But again, we could be wrong because none of us thought Morgan was going to be the crossover character to begin with. So a lot of this is speculation. You can't say for sure. But write the comments, plead your case. What's your reasoning? What's your logic for which one do you think? So either way, what effect is this going to have on Fear? So Llamaz says, I think it was around the time he met Eastman. Fear will be ruined with such a massive time jump. I mean, overall. And, I hear what you're saying. Either way, it's a big time jump. But pretty much one of the downsides of having the crossover, I think the crossover idea is a great idea because you're helping in terms of helping to promote Fear the Walking Dead and have it continue. Because again, guys, the thing about this is some people that are pure Fear fans, they might be pissed off that they're doing this because then you are kind of forsaking Fear's story in order to get it caught up so that Morgan can enter. You're kind of bypassing, you're skipping a lot of the Fear group's journey in the zombie apocalypse and evolution to get to the point where Morgan can cross, right? Either way, you do Eastman, you do after Walking Dead Season 8 All Out War. Either way, you're skipping a lot to get there. You really are. But at the same time, it's better than canceling Fear, I think. It's better than if they had decided, the show's not really working that well. We're putting a lot into it. We built this huge ranch. We had to do all this stuff. We had all the, it cost a lot of money and everything. And maybe it didn't do as well as we wanted it to do. So it's better that Morgan comes in, they do a huge time jump, and we get to see Fear continue, at least for probably a couple more seasons. I'd say at least 2 seasons is pretty much guaranteed. Season 4, Season 5, now that you're crossing Morgan, you're probably set with that for Fear. It's better that they do that than Fear just kind of dies a slow, painful death, with Season 4 being the last season or something, because Dave Erickson leaves, and then, you don't know how many people are going to watch, that kind of thing. So it's definitely interesting what we're seeing happen here, but, either way, it's a better fate for Fear than Fear being canceled. It's giving Fear a better chance to succeed. You're giving Lenny James, who's one of the best actors in The Walking Dead, more screen time and more opportunity to lead a secondary show. He gets to help lead with Madison and the others. It's still their show too, but he's definitely going to boost it for them. So, as far as trepidations could go with regards to having him switch, it's kind of to me, it's better than the alternative if Fear was to end, quickly or something, or if people just weren't checking it out and eventually AMC pulled the plug on Fear in a couple seasons or something. I think Fear has a better shot with Morgan in it than it would have if it didn't. So in terms of the story, though, you are, I do think, forsaking kind of Fear's story and what was building there. But then again, you have, you have a showrunner, you have Dave Erickson having left, and he started the series, and he was the one really who got the first 3 seasons done and did an amazing job and, really helped launch this new show, which has been pretty well received. Definitely not as well as The Walking Dead, but, probably as good as he probably could do. If you look at season 3, I think you'd say, yeah, he did his damn best, that he could do for the show. So I think it would have been cool for sure to see all of those events throughout with the Fear group, because then you're kind of siding with the Fear group. You're saying we want to see this group's evolution all the way throughout. Whereas this way of doing it, you're kind of skipping some of their story in order to bring Morgan in and have it match. But if that's what's required to keep Fear going, then that's what's required. But I do think it does hurt the other characters' kind of journey and their story ahead of time. But maybe they didn't. Maybe whatever they had planned for them after season 3 really was not. Or maybe they didn't have that much plan. Dave Erickson had some kind of idea, but when he's leaving the show, it's kind of like he's giving it to someone else. It's not really his anymore. And so whatever ideas he had planned for Nicholas and Madison and what happens with them, he's kind of passing it off to other people. It's going to be in other people's hands. So whatever plans he would have had long term, maybe they can still execute on those, but it's going to be handled by different people anyway. So it's kind of it's up to you guys now. So... And with giving it to them, with giving it to someone else, it's you're not going to be 100% able to control and do the story the way you wanted it to. So they're going to take it their own way. They're going to take what Fear had and was doing in the end of season 3. They're going to take that group and they're going to join it with a new important character from The Walking Dead. We're going to get to see more of him, and we're going to get to kind of win all around, I think. So all in all, I think it's a win for Fear, but I do get that any Fear fans that really love what they were doing with the group and wanted to see it be its own standalone thing might be upset because they're kind of having both shows kind of become closer together by having a crossover and bringing in the possibility of maybe us seeing a crossover back the other way, which I would absolutely love to see if we got any of the original Fear group going into The Walking Dead. That would be really cool. And we'll just have to see how this all fits. I hope it's brilliant and they have some kind of crazy idea that just makes perfect sense and stuff and is natural for the characters. So we'll see. So Adrian says, doesn't make sense that Fear would have such a massive time jump. And I agree with Adrian. It really doesn't. But, what can you do? I mean, I suppose they could always do like flashback episodes later on if they really wanted to, right? It's always possible. Jakoob Shmeedurmahn says, well, this basically confirms Morgan won't die in Season 8. Look at that pointy end of the stick, boy. So, for me, at this point I'm saying that I think my death prediction for Morgan for the season was wrong. So who would have predicted or who would have thought they'd go with Carl instead of Morgan? It's like, what? And then Morgan would be crossing over to Fear. It's like, what? So if nothing else, they're making the series very unpredictable right now, and that in itself is pretty exciting. I think it's after Eastman, Danny says. So, and his last name is Morales. So, so he thinks at that time. It's a lot of people. Jack Goldberg says, it seems to me that they will have Morgan leave The Walking Dead somehow and end up in Fear. Do you ever think that they will transform or transition him back to The Walking Dead after Fear? So there is a possibility, of course, that he could go back the other way, or some of the other characters could go back the other way and end up in The Walking Dead that were in Fear. Personally, I think that would just be so cool because then, and it'd be smart for AMC to do it then, because in order to get the background story behind the characters that are coming in The Walking Dead, you would have needed to watch Fear, right? If you're going to go the other way. So again, it helps, cross promote both series. You get one that goes from Walking Dead to Fear. It helps because some fans go with him. And then if you go back the other way, then it could be like all those fans would be like, oh, I don't get this. I got to go watch Fear to find out who this Nicholas character is. And he seems like a cool guy. I want to see his journey, so I got to go watch Fear. So definitely you could see why AMC would want to do it. I mean, it's freaking, it's like a easy peasy, yeah, I mean, of course you would, right? Awood Jablomi, that's his name. He spelled it the Canadian way, too. When he says A, it's E-H, right? Same backpack, same jacket with staff. It looks like it will be after Eastman, before Alexandria. And that's a question. He's not wearing his Kingdom gear in the pictures. So that's something for you, right? I mean, if he was wearing the Kingdom gear, then we could all say, okay, no, it's, definitely 100% it's after Walking Dead. Right now, we're still like, I'm just not sure. So we're going to have to see how this goes. And then there's always the possibility they end up being the Whispers, and they ended up somehow being, close by there, and he ran into them earlier or something. I don't know. So, it's like, what theories coming out that, just we'll see, man. We'll see. MHM says he has the exact same clothes as when you see him on the train tracks during the reveal of him being back. Even the helmet on his backpack. And it's even possible, too, that we see like a flashback from Morgan or something, as part of this. So, oh man, it's just so crazy. So maybe it's true that we can't say 100% that he won't be killed off for sure in Season 8 of The Walking Dead. I guess it's possible he still could be. But, and it be an Eastman flashback, I just tend to think like, the other way would make more sense, but oh man, it's so hard to say right now, right? It's kind of frustrating, right? Like I'm doing this with you guys. It's like you guys supposed to be getting frustrated listening to me talk about this because it's like, yeah, we have a little bit, but we don't have enough to really say like concretely either way which one it is. So please your case in the comments. Let me know what you think. Solent Green 666 says, Q&A Trev, do you think it's possible that they might merge the two shows as of, next year or this year? At the end of this year, they might merge the two. I don't think that they're going to want to mess up the original Walking Dead. by doing some kind of merge here. But I think that small crossovers between both of like a character or a couple characters could be really cool. And there's a lot of unknowns here. We don't know what AMC wants to do with Fear the Walking Dead now. How many more seasons do they want Fear on for? Do they want to do 5 seasons of Fear? Do they want to try for 10? Does that make sense? Or does it make more sense to kind of have Fear get a couple really good seasons here, cross over into The Walking Dead, and then have it be some kind of big crossover thing? Like, if you do that, then, you can't really do like 10 seasons if the Fear group ends up being villains in The Walking Dead or something. So, really tough questions, really good stuff. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think of this one. Purist Fear fans, how are you feeling about this huge time skip? Walking Dead fans, what do you think about this whole prospect and, kind of the crossing between the shows and this first major crossover and whether or not we'll see further crossovers? What do you think they're doing? Do your predictions in the comments. What do you think they're doing with Fear? Is it a sequel Morgan? Is it an Eastman, prequel Morgan? Are they the Whisperers? What do you think? Write your comments below. Is she Alpha? Write your comments. Let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. And you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.